welcome back to the channel. Thanks for coming along today. We are gonna be leaving central Pennsylvania and we are going to go down to Maryland, and we are going to hike the C&O Canal Trail. This is one of our family's favorite spots. We love coming down here to this canal trail. It's such a fun place, and we are going to go explore the Paw Paw Tunnel. It's a 3,118 foot canal tunnel that we're going to go check out. Thanks for coming along. Okay, we're on the hill above the tunnel. I guess they call it Sorrel Ridge. It says we're 362 feet above the Paw Paw Tunnel, and this is all a National Historic Park that comes along the C&O Canal Trail. And we came up here in the woods and parked in the Paw Paw Tunnel Hill Trail parking lot. Last time we came in through old town and parked there and walked along the canal trail, but this time we came in a different way, so this will be unique. I'm guessing we're gonna walk down closer towards the tunnel here and enjoy some of the hiking up here. Walking down to the canal trail. We are walking down towards the canal, and it's a nice little hiking area from the top of the ridge down to the canal tunnel. So nice little history and nature walk. Okay, we're on top of the tunnel over here, I believe. We actually are came down off the mountain, and we are coming over the tunnel, which will be neat. And right here, it said there's the tunnel builders hauled out about 200,000 cubic yards of shale and spoil, and you can see the spoil piles here. And it came out of vertical shafts like they did when they were mining, and they started in here. And right here, they're taking out the spoils out of a vertical shaft with a hoist. And right here, there would have been some vertical shafts that were filled in, but this will be the spoils from inside the tunnel. So kind of a neat way to extract all the waste from when they were mining the tunnel. They said that a bunch of Irish and German immigrants, around 400 to 1,000, were working on this tunnel. The tunnel builders, which were German and Irish immigrants, they would build the Paw Paw Tunnel from 1836 to 1850. I was told lived up on these hills above the tunnel, and they had little tents and shacks that they lived in. And there was probably some structures up here. I see a bunch of flat spots up here. I was told by a good friend John that there's remnants up on top of here of some old structures from some of the workers that built the tunnel. Okay, we're on the old mule path, and here's the old former canal bed. And this canal would go from Georgetown, Washington area to Cumberland, and they planned on going from Cumberland towards Pittsburgh, but the B&O Railroad came in around 1850, and there was no reason to go any further with the canal. But here's the former canal bed. Look how much rock they had to kind of blast through. A lot of extreme work to build these canals. And this would have been the mule path, where the mule would walk along, pulling the rope for the canal boat through the canal. And typically these canals are only about 2 to 3 foot. They're about 6 feet deep, and they were wide enough for 2 boats to go through, one going this way and one going that way. And the water was usually only about 4 to 6 feet deep in these canals. But yep, this is the C&O Historic Canal Trail, and it's a national park. coming to the tunnel head of the Paw Paw Tunnel, and here's the canal bed, the former canal bed. And this canal went from Washington area all the way towards Cumberland. And this was our main transportation for bulk materials such as coal, you know, agricultural, wheat farming, and iron ore. Also materials for, you know, goods, food, and people. This area right here is bypassing the bends in the Potomac River that they called the Paw Paw Bends, and the river went through a series of extremely wide and long bends, and it would have been difficult to build a canal through that area. So they decided to divert that area and come straight through this mountain. And this is why they built the canal tunnel, and it was an engineering marvel. 3,118 feet through this mountain, and the required labor for Irish and German immigrants to build this was outstanding at the time. It took them, I believe, 14 years to build, from 1836 to 1850. And naturally, on the other side of the tunnel, the canal was being constructed, you know, both ways. So whenever this tunnel opened up, the entire canal was ran to Cumberland, where the canal would stop. The canal would operate till 1924, but usually just to haul bulk materials such as wheat, farming, agriculture, coal, and it was just you know, an easy transport for, you know, local industries along here. But the B&O Railroad was finished up in 1850, and this canal was designed to go to Pittsburgh, but the B&O Railroad took its place. But they would continue operating the canal until 1924, which is very, very amazing for the time. This is a historic national park, and it's amazing. Around 1971, this former canal bed was put into a national park system, and they you know, made a lot of trails and such as this, you know, walking area to the tunnel, and it's just a beautiful place to ride your bike and walk. It's honestly one of our favorite places to come as a family. There's so many sections along this canal trail that are awesome. And I read that there was 1,300 historic structures along this canal trail, which is incredible. It's like a time machine when you come here. So it's a really great experience to enjoy. Imagine the men that built this, you know, carving out this rock to get a tunnel through the mountain. Here we are at the impressive Paw Paw Tunnel. This tunnel is completely wrapped with stone and brick, and was an amazing marvel. Sure. Ready to go in the tunnel?
Yeah, to turn it on.
There you go. Look at the beautiful masonry and all the cut stone. Just the craftsmanship and the masonry it took, and the hard work to build this tunnel, just to transport goods, you know, along this canal. Today we are going to walk through the Paw Paw Tunnel. We are located between Old Town, Maryland and Allegheny County and Paw Paw, West Virginia. This historic canal tunnel was a construction marvel and was dug through a hillside 3,118 foot to bypass the 6-mile Paw Paw bends of the Potomac River. The tunnel started in 1836 and was completed in 1850. Construction of the C&O Canal began in 1828 and was finally completed in 1850 when it reached Cumberland. The goal of building the C&O Canal was to provide transportation of bulk materials from the Potomac headwaters to the Forks of Ohio, which is present-day site of Pittsburgh. In 1850, the B&O Railroad reached Cumberland, so the canal couldn't compete with the railroad. But from 1850 to 1924, the C&O Canal operated to ship bulk lumber, coal, wheat, as well as other bulk shipments. The Canal was closed in 1924 due to damaging floodwaters. In 1971, the National Park Service declared the former Canal a National Historic Park. The Canal Trail starts at Georgetown, Washington, and ends at Cumberland, Maryland, making it a 184.5-mile trip. Along the Canal Trail, this historic park shares 1,300 historic structures, including canal locks, lockmaster homes, the Paw Paw Tunnel, many aqueducts, dams, reservoirs, old houses, and industrial sites along the way. This historic national park is an amazing place to come and enjoy history, ride your bike, and walk. And it's one of my personal goals to do the entire trail at some point in my life. There's something about this park and trail that just it has good vibes, and it's just a great time to enjoy yourself. So I would check it out. Notice all the brickwork wrapping this tunnel. And the mules would come straight in here. This is the mule path, and they would pull the canal boats through the canal. And this water has no current. I mean, even while operating, it required mules to pull the canal boats, through this, because these canals were all dug, and they used water off the rivers by a series of water access points where they would open up gates and let water in the canal from the river and dams, and they had reservoirs that would provide water to these canals. And these canal systems the boats would go about 2 or 3 miles an hour, through the canal. It took 16 years to build this canal tunnel. A lot of the workers were, died from lots of different diseases, and it was just a lot of hard work. Something we shouldn't forget about. This is an awesome place to visit. You can ride your bike on this trail, not right inside the tunnel. They tell you to walk, but this whole trail, I think I'll have to check, but I'll check. I'm not sure. It's either like 140 or 180 miles long that go from basically Georgetown, Washington, all the way to Cumberland. And the trail is awesome for biking and walking, and there's so much cool stuff to see along the way. This entire tunnel is wrapped with bricks. It's amazing how much masonry work they had to do. And this was completed in 1850, so I mean, there's hundreds of thousands of bricks inside this thing. I'd like to find out how many there were. So we're almost on the other side of the tunnel, and I believe 3,118 feet. That's over a mile, I think. Mile and a half, maybe. I'll double check that. But yeah, pretty nice long, very nice long tunnel. And just can't imagine how they built this then. I mean, try to wrap your head around that. Just the sheer determination to build a tunnel like this. Before the railroad was here, this is a canal tunnel, the bed of water coming through the mountain, all to make transportation a little more straighter towards Cumberland. Their goal was to make it to Pittsburgh, but the canal stopped in Cumberland, and the railroad would run from Cumberland to Pittsburgh. So there was lots of different competing canals in Pennsylvania. Where I'm from in Blair County, we had the Juniata Canal. There was the Union Canal, the Erie Canal, and this is the C&O Canal, but there was many other canal systems also. They would all do the same thing. They would all, all compete for their market share, dealing with, things they need to transport, such as iron ore, pig iron, coal, limestone, farming, food, materials, lumber, people, transportation. But it's amazing, this old canal history, how awesome it is. And it was definitely a time whenever they were building America, and this was their way to transport.
Somebody left it here for a reason.
I want to see it.
Maybe they had a road to the drive. There is a cross. Maybe I think.
The canal would continue that way, and this is the Sino Canal Trail, which I encourage anyone to come and check out. A lot of people use this, and it covers, Maryland, West Virginia, and it goes to some very cool places, and it follows the river down here. Some awesome history along this trail. One of my bucket list ideas is to ride this entire trail someday when I retire. The Paw Paw Tunnel. Imagine one canal boat came through at a time, and it must have bottlenecked things, on both sides of the canal for a little bit. Very impressive. The purpose of this canal tunnel was to avoid all these bends along the Potomac River. If you see all these windy bends, and I believe they call these the Paw Paw bends, this is the Potomac River. And they were trying to avoid all that. Now, naturally, a canal system was always followed the rivers so they could access water to feed the canals. And this is the Potomac River. And you might ask, why didn't they just use the river for transportation? Well, they did do river arcing, but travel would have been just one way to follow with the current. So a canal system, such as over here, had free floating water where they didn't have to battle against current, rocks. It's a consistent, bed where they could transport items, whatever direction they were going, whether it's this way, down that bed, or coming this way. So the canal system was a great way to transport people and goods during this time frame. So to avoid these bends along the river, they decided to go right through the mountain and built the Paw Paw Tunnel. (3,118 feet tunnel), and we have a little picture of how they were excavating the tunnel, and up above here they were taking the spoils out through these vertical mine shafts, where they have hoists where they pulled, material out. And this is a common practice in mining during the time. Here's some men pulling mules with slips where they would, help with digging. On the way back, we're going to go ahead and go around the tunnel above it. They have an overhead trail that goes over the tunnel. We're going to check this out here. So this is the trail where the workers used to walk to and from work, and they would live up on top of the hill here in tents or small shacks. And it says there might be some old vertical shafts where they, remove the spoils out of the tunnel. Beautiful Potomac River. And we are getting ready to go over the mountain. Here's the tunnel where it goes into the mountain. Hey boys, you ready? Be strong boys. We're gonna get through this, okay? We're gonna earn that toy for the day, okay? See the bends, how it's coming around here and around here. This is what they tried to avoid with the canal. So they just came right through this mountain. Okay, we're pretty much up to the top above the tunnel here, and you can see the Potomac River down there. And not exactly 100% sure, but you know, where the tunnel is at underneath here. I'm gonna say it's a little higher up this way, but I'm gonna say, yeah, we're probably walking to the right of it. And you can see there's the new rail bed. There was, you know, that was probably part of the canal at one point. Could have been one of those aqueducts where the canal actually crossed the river with those old piers. But you can actually hear the railroad, the trains, you know, going over there somewhere. But the trains came in and replaced the canal systems. In these hills, we noticed a bunch of flat spots that probably some of the workers lived up here. And it said on the signs coming up here that the Irish and German workers lived up here while they were building this tunnel. Paw Paw, West Virginia. We are following along the bends of the Paw Paw bends that was, you know, along the Potomac River. Interesting. I just realized that's a fruit tree, the Paw Paw tree. So right across the river here is the Paw Paw, West Virginia. And over here is another sign, and building through the bends. Here's the Paw Paw tunnel that we are walking along right now. Up the mountain. Here's the bends of the Paw Paw bends of the Potomac River. Canal engineers were uncertain as to the best option for building the canal tunnel through the Paw Paw bends. A looping section of the Potomac River, they considered three options: build along the river, use the river for slack water, or construct a tunnel through the mountain, a 5-mile shortcut. The engineer Charles B. Fisk favored the tunnel option. This is really cool how this worked out, because we had no idea. But when we came up here, we parked in the Paw Paw tunnel and we walked down that trail through the gate, and it takes you down to the entrance of the tunnel. And then when you come around the other side, if you take the trail over the tunnel, it brings you right up this hill, right up to the top of the mountain here where we parked. So it actually made a very nice loop that we were unaware of. So that turned out pretty good. It was a nice adventure. We are at an aqueduct, and what an aqueduct is, it's like a bridge over the river, you know, for the canal system. Imagine seeing water going over another bed of water. So we have the canal, the former canal bed right here. This is the C&O Canal. Here's the former canal bed. Here's the towpath. The Potomac River is here. And you can say a stretch of the river comes across here. So along various points of the canal or the railroad, you had to cross rivers. And same thing with the canal. You would have canal boats go across the river. And that's kind of an interesting concept, you know. So here's the old aqueduct. It was like a bridge, and this was built over built over the river. You can see this beautiful stonework. And the canal boats would come straight through here, across here, and would just continue along here. And this would cross over the river. So here's the river. And this is really neat. You can see the newer B&O Railroad trestle that would cross right beside the canal at a later point. But you can see the original stonework of this aqueduct. So this river, and then the canal boats would come through here. And you had a series of aqueducts along the canal system, as well as locks where they had to lift the boats, raise the boats, lower the boat along certain grades of the canal. Here's the other side of the aqueduct where the boats would come over the river. Really cool. And there's a lot of extra stone here. They must have dismantled it off of this. Again, the canal system was impressive enough, but the building of the canal was impressive. I mean, the work it took to build this infrastructure along here is remarkable. All the stonework was cut, chiseled by masons to to build this infrastructure. I mean, how long do you think this would take today to build? It would take us forever. People don't cut stone anymore. They don't know how to do it. I mean, they do, but it's just a handful of people. They would build this aqueduct to get the canal boats across the river. These men were incredibly determined to build America through this infrastructure. Can you imagine that today? Just seeing canal boats coming down through here. This would have been the interstate highway system of yesterday. So this would have probably been built, in the 1820s, between 1820 and 1850 when they started building the canal. And what's really impressive about this is this canal did operate till 1924, which was very late. With the competing railroad, they still found many uses for this canal for hauling bulk freight and lumber, and coal, and probably many other goods. But with the railroad that came right along here, that was just a lot faster and a lot quicker. But they still utilized this canal, which was really neat. So the work that these men did helped for many years. Awesome history. Awesome. Here we are on the C&O Canal Trail. And we left the Paw Paw Tunnel and we're heading back towards Cumberland. And we stopped here at this former aqueduct that this canal system would go right over the river, the creek. This creek would flow into the Potomac River here. So, this canal had to pass through the waterway, so they would build what they called an aqueduct, which would be a raised canal structure. And here's the former canal, and the water would come through through this canal. And here's the towpath where the mules would pull the canal boats along the towpath, chugging along at 3 to 4 miles an hour. And they would come right to this creek right here, and they would have to cross over the creek. So they made this aqueduct structure where, they would just fill this with water here. This was a canal, and they would just flow right over the river with the culvert. Very cool. And off to the right here, there was probably another wall there at one point that was taken down. I'm not sure, because that's exposed there. So the water, you know, the water would have went out of that. If somebody can explain that to me, that'd be great. I think it was just taken down, obviously. Yeah, it would have had to been. So that's probably explains all that. That explains all that rock up there on the hill. This rock would have been through here like it is here. And this was just removed at one point. Yep. This stone would have continued along here to hold the water in. Very cool. What a fun adventure today with the family. I always enjoy these moments with the family, getting out there, exploring, sharing these videos with you, and I hope you guys enjoyed coming along today. Thank you for watching, and check out the Canal Trail in your travels. It's one of the funnest places we can go. Doesn't cost any money, and you can have a great time. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.